31-year-old model and real estate agent by name Maleesa Mooney went out with friends to a bar in Santa Monica in the United States of America on the 6th of September 2023 and hung out with them in an apartment until about 3 to 4 a.m. the next morning. After this, she also FaceTimed with her cousin that same day. But then, after this, nobody heard from her again, and her family also didn't see her again afterwards. Several calls to her phone were unanswered, and as is expected, her family got worried. Now, at a point in time, her mother requested a welfare check 6 days afterwards, and then police entered the apartment using a key from the property management. It was at this point that unfortunately, Miss Maleesa Mooney, who is actually determined to be about 2 months pregnant, was found unalived in her own refrigerator. This was very strange because nobody saw this coming. There was no prior incidents or no prior reports of someone trying to do something against her which would have suggested that her life was in danger in any form. So this came as a shock to everybody, especially the manner in which she was found. Now, before I continue with this, I would first want you to go to the comment section and type, "Please stop the femicide." It is very unfortunate that these things are being perpetrated against our women, and I think that it is very, very unfortunate just as much as it's very sad, and we need to fight this together. Now, so backtracking, this was on the 12th of September of 2023 when police had now found her in this state. And so, investigations began, and eventually, a suspect was picked up, a man, 41-year-old, by name Magnus Daniel Humphrey. Now, Daniel Humphrey was originally from Hopkins, Minnesota, and he was eventually arrested on the 3rd of November 2023 in Minneapolis, from where he was later extradited to Los Angeles. Now, nobody really knew what the relationship was between Maleesa Mooney and Magnus Daniel Humphrey, but it was just established that they were staying together. Just that the apartment actually belonged to Maleesa Mooney, so it was more like Magnus Daniel Humphrey was crashing at her place. Now, Humphrey was on federal probation at the time, and it was expected that he was not allowed to carry any weapons with him. As to the nature of the relationship between the two of them, it has yet to be determined, but at least it can be inferred that per the nature of their relationship, Maleesa Mooney sort of trusted him enough to allow her into her home, and unfortunately, this happened to her, with him being the suspect. Some people are speculating maybe they were dating or whatever, but that has not been established, so I wouldn't want to assume that was the case. But like I said, whatever relationship they had, Maleesa Mooney seemed to have trusted Humphrey enough to open her doors to him for him to stay with her. Now, I think that the world is getting more and more dangerous. RIP to Maleesa. Let's type this in the comment section and send some love to her family. But I think the world is getting more and more dangerous. People more and more are showing themselves to be not what they seem to be. Everybody is trying to look nice. Everybody is trying to look the part and look pleasant, loving, affable, and cheerful. Everybody is trying to look like the loyal friend, the supportive person. But trust you me, there are monsters amongst us. And sometimes they come with a smile, sometimes they come with a pretty face, sometimes they come with a handsome face, and sometimes the track record is actually there for you to see. Because as it stands now, it turns out that Humphrey has a dark past. Per what has happened to Maleesa Mooney, Humphrey has actually been arrested and charged with 1 count of murder and 1 count of torture. But he has pleaded not guilty to both charges, and he's being held without bail as at the time of making this video. Now, if he is found guilty and convicted, he could face up to a maximum sentence of life in prison without parole. Now, the family of Maleesa Mooney are actually excited at this arrest, but like I've been saying, in the eyes of the law, although Humphrey is a suspect, he is actually innocent until proven guilty. Not to talk of his dark past as a basis for which someone would automatically want to assume that he is guilty, because it turns out that Daniel Humphrey has an extensive criminal history spanning across multiple states in the United States. For example, so in Illinois, Daniel Humphrey was charged in September 1999 with felony battery and aggravated assault. But then the case was dropped. So you see what I'm saying? You can say this about him, but at the end of the day, the charge didn't stick in court. Now, he was arrested again in the same year of 1999 and also in 2002 on several drug-related charges, including possession with intent to deliver cannabis. Fast forward, in Minnesota again, Humphrey was convicted in August 2009 of felony second-degree assault. And then fast forward to May of 2013, he was again charged of felony third-degree assault. He was barred from possessing firearms and ammunition after that. Now, he was also at a point in time in 2009 charged with false imprisonment and first-degree aggravated robbery. But again, those charges were dismissed. He was convicted in 2009 of illegally possessing a firearm, which was a felony offense. So, this guy has a checkered history. I'm not trying to judge him. I respect the fact that everybody makes mistakes and sometimes people change. Although it's very, very, very rare for people to change, especially all of a sudden. But that's not to say that Daniel Humphrey is guilty. Because as it stands now, irrespective of his checkered past, some of which even the charges didn't stick, nobody can just assume that per his history, Daniel Humphrey is automatically the culprit in the unaliving of Maleesa Mooney. This is where it becomes painful, especially for the family and loved ones of the victim. Because sometimes your instincts and everything you see can strongly convince you that this is the culprit. But then it comes down to one key thing, and that is evidence. And you being able to prove it in court enough to convince the judge and sometimes the jury. That is where it becomes difficult. So you might know the truth for what it is, but sometimes how to prove it becomes a problem. And this is where I'm also counting on investigators and the security agencies to put up their best. I don't think that anyone responsible for the unaliving of 31-year-old Maleesa Mooney should be able to beat this case. Granted, some people may be arrested as suspects and later found to be innocent. I respect that. But if there is any guilty person who gets to be arrested or the actual culprit getting to be arrested, then I'm expecting that the prosecution and the police need to work their ass off to get this person prosecuted and sentenced. As it stands now, the key suspect is Magnus Daniel Humphrey, and he is facing a very difficult case. I don't know if he's guilty or he's not, but at least he is the key suspect now. And when I see such cases, I get very sad because I have dedicated my channel to run a campaign against femicide, because as a true crimes channel, I've realized that most of the crimes that happen are mostly against women or feminine gender. This is not me being biased. I'm just reporting it as the stats are. So just go to the comment section, support our campaign. Just type hashtag say no to femicide or hashtag please stop the femicide, and let's help push this campaign. RIP to Maleesa Mooney. My heart goes out to her family. Think that, sorry, it's very unfortunate when a parent has to bury their child. I always say this. And if you look at Maleesa Mooney, she was so full of life. She was so bubbly, very beautiful lady. She was a queen and a princess. I don't know the motive for which somebody would do this to her, but I'm praying and expecting that the public would also help the police to wrap this case up and the prosecutors will be able to get justice for her and her loved ones in court. And even with that, as I sometimes say, the harm has already been done. So whatever transpires in court, if it's a successful prosecution of whoever the key suspect is, it's going to go a long way at bringing maybe closure to her family, but for her, she's already lost. RIP to her. I hope that her memories will live on and her legacy will not be forgotten. Subscribe to the channel if you are yet to do so. Thank you for watching our videos. Leave a comment in the comment section. Watch our other videos and let us know what you think. Keep an eye out and stay safe out there. I'll catch you on the next one.